So, hello everybody. My name is Dara. So to bring this approach alive, what we decided to do is to come up with a potentially real-life brand campaign scenario, which in my old job was very, very close to my heart, a lot of common challenges. And I really hope that many of you in the branding audience can actually identify with the kind of things we've come up with. And actually, to make this as real as possible, I'm going to take off my Google hat for the purpose of this exercise. And my role for the first few minutes is going to be as a EMEA brand director for a fictitious global retail brand. So I'm going to talk to you about our brand mission, our campaign objectives, all those things that normally in a day-to-day job that you'd be thinking of before you engage with Google or any other media partners. Okay? So, who are we? So this brand does not exist. We've made this up. We are Muse Retail. We are a global retail player. We are present in over 20 countries around the world. We have flagships in all of the big urban centers in the world with a thriving e-commerce business as well. Our brand mission is to bring high fashion at low prices to all of our consumers. And our long-term goal is to be able to create a one-stop fashion and beauty stop for all of our clients and all of our new customers. So with that in mind, 2 years ago, with this one-stop fashion idea, we actually launched a brand new fragrance brand under the Halo brand of Muse, which has been very, very successful. Now, my job as the EMEA director for Muse is to create a brand new beauty brand, again, and actually continue on the success of that fragrance brand. So which brand are we going to launch and what's it going to be called? Well, before we looked into which brand we were going for, we actually looked into some big data to understand where should we launch and what type of brand and category should we go for. So the two big things that we looked into, two big trends. First of all is this explosion in the urbanization of the people, which I'm sure many of you have seen yourselves already. And especially it's been driven by the likes of the millennials, who are really, really keen to move to these communities where everything is pretty much on their fingertips. So definitely convenience and proximity is king, which is really good for our brand because that's exactly where we are. And the second thing in terms of which category to play in is that we're really, really assured to see that makeup is still really big, big business. If you look at the German market, for example, it's worth nearly 13 billion euros and growing. And also consumption is very high. In the UK and Ireland market alone, women are investing almost £2,000 a year on makeup. So it's very, very highly engaged. And as our friends down the back of the bus have told us, 57% of women would rather ditch their boyfriends than go without makeup. So it's a very, very highly emotionally engaged category, and it's something we really wanted to play in. So in my role as director, I decided that's where we want to play in makeup, and we want to launch in the UK and Germany because they're the two biggest markets. So we put together a brief for Google, and here's what's in this brief. So the name of the brand, as I said, is called Urban Beauty. And this brand is a makeup brand for confident, urban, professional women who have got high income but potentially have low time. So this is my brief that I'm sending out to Google, and these are going to be the brief that the team are going to actually play off when they talk to you about the concrete examples. So the concept, as I said, is an aspirational makeup brand for fashion-conscious, urban, professional women. The prime prospect, or the key target market, again, is busy urban females, 25 to 35, in the UK, Republic of Ireland, and Germany. But also we thought there was a wider opportunity, not just to touch this core market for us, but actually to try and expand our reach and go after some of those 18-pluses who can be the next Muse and Urban Beauty customers. So in terms of our key objectives, again, many of you, I'm sure, can identify with these, but we will have a 2-month and a 6-month sales target to hit, 2-month being the launch spike, and 6-month being the second target we're going after. Our big plans is to maximize reach and awareness of this new product via a big multimedia campaign. The actual Muse awareness is very high. We're in the high 80s, but actually nobody knows about Urban Beauty, so reach and awareness is very important for us. And also, as we're a fashion brand, engagement is super, super important for us. And we really want to drive engagement not only to our website, but to continue our social engagement with our clients. In terms of timings, we're now in May, but the plan is to launch in September, which is going to link up with our fashion collection. But also, we want to use the time from September, October, and November to really build those remarketing lists, so we absolutely max out and make the most of our Christmas sales period. And finally, campaign budget. We're aiming big for this. We're going to go for $1 million. I'll put in plus plus because if the campaign is going really well, especially on the e-commerce side, there's potential to invest more. So really open to see what Google are going to have to say about that. Our key performance indicators for success. As I said, first thing, revenue. Our sales director's got some very, very strict revenue targets. We're going for a reach of 20 million plus potential clients in the UK and Germany markets in the first 4 weeks. Brand awareness, we want to hit 50% of our prime prospect customers within the first 6 months. And finally, as I talked about loyalty and advocacy, we really want to aim for a 50% reorder rate within the first 6 months. By reorder rate, I mean people who've ordered more than one time within 6 months. And the key assets that we're going to hand over to Google and our other digital partners, we put together a fantastic video, which is the 20-second ad. We also have 3 hero vloggers working on amazing content, which we really want to blow up and share with as many people as possible. We're going to have an amazing, amazing dedicated YouTube channel for Urban Beauty. We've also created 4 digital banners, and we have flex to create more depending on what the solutions come back with. So I, like yourselves, have heard all about the signals, impact, scale approach to how Google can help me really grow my business and grow Urban Beauty. And so what I'd like to find out about first is how are signals and how can my audience interpretation and data really help me build my business plan and help me grow my business. So to tell us more about signals, I'd like to invite Isla on stage to fill us in. So thank you.
Thanks a lot. Cheers, Dara, or fictional brand director. Hi, everyone. My name's Alia. I work on Google's Market Insights team. So what we mainly do is sort of advertising effectiveness, brand media measurement, that type of thing. But a really important part of what we do is actually in consumer insight. So that's helping sort of our clients really keep on top of digital trends and sort of understand the signals that will sort of better help them design campaigns with the best impact. I have the pleasure of taking you through 3 tools. There are many, many other tools that we could possibly talk about, and I'm really happy to talk to you in the breakout sessions afterwards about some other tools. But I'm going to be talking you through 3 key tools that'll help you get to those signals. So we're going to start. I'm just going to quickly run through. I mean, you've seen all this before. So that global retailer with those key sort of objectives of building brand awareness and driving sales. And remember that my target is women with that core of 25 to 35s. And also in the UK, Ireland, and Germany, right? Okay, so I'm going to be starting off thinking about, as this urban beauty brand, sort of when it comes to their category, thinking about 3 sort of really key questions that hopefully apply to you guys as well. So starting off broad, just in general, in my category, what are people thinking about at the minute? For that, we're going to use Google Trends. So that's actually where we use real-time search data to see what people are thinking about at the minute. Next is path to purchase. Now, we're all really keen on path to purchase stuff, understanding those sort of online and offline touch points that get people to the purchase point. For that, we have this fantastic tool called the Consumer Barometer. This is basically where Google have compiled a huge volume of survey data so that you can understand consumer behaviors basically across the globe. I'll show you that in some more detail in a bit. And then if we wanted to be drilling down a bit further, some specific questions, like, you know, what do people think of my brand or my campaign idea specifically? For that, we've got Google Consumer Surveys. Now, that's a basically self-service survey tool that helps you sort of ask any question to the internet. OK, I'll go through all of those, but I'm going to start off with Google Trends. OK, I'm actually just going to go straight to the demo, guys. OK, perfect. Here we are. So this is the Trends interface. And here I've basically just typed in mascara. And I've filtered, as you can see there, to the UK over the last 3 years. So just a pretty simple picture of what trends in mascara look like at the minute. We've got a general increase in trends in sort of searches for mascara, but also these interesting peaks. So here, November, December of last year, massive, massive increase in searches. So that's, you know, potentially in the run-up to Christmas, all those girls getting themselves ready for Christmas parties and whatever, real interest in mascara increasing. We can see that peak there in December and also in the same in 2012 as well. So certainly that Christmas period is something I need to be thinking about. But I could type in pretty much, you know, anything that was interesting to me. Maybe this brand, Dara's brand, is branching into eyeliner and lipstick, or I want to see how those categories do. So I can see that in general, lipstick, actually more people seem to be interested in that than in the others, but those sort of peaks are occurring at the same time. Other interesting things we can look at here are being able to see which cities over-index for searches in case I wanted to target specifically. So apparently Ilford and Tittinsore are searching for mascara more than others. But what's really interesting is these related searches. So when people are typing in mascara, what are the actual queries that they're using? And so we can see, you know, a lot of people generically typing in best mascara. But, you know, Maybelline being high up in the category there. Also waterproof mascara, for example. So these are the sorts of trends at the minute. But also I can look at rising queries. So this is where over that time period, we've seen like a huge leap in queries in a specific query. And 3D fiber mascara is basically like all of the top queries here. So that's something I need to be, as the beauty brand, I need to be thinking, oh, what's going on there? That's a trend that I maybe need to be keeping on top of. What brands are playing in that area at the minute? You know, and we can do that for others. So in lipstick, for example, MAC is one of the top searches there. And in eyeliner, it's how-to eyeliner. So maybe that's something to be thinking about when designing the content, that maybe, you know, sort of DIY tips sort of content might be something people are interested in. That's a quick snapshot of trends. If I could go back to my presentation. OK, so next we are going to look at the consumer barometer, which is probably my favorite. First of all, can I just check, has anybody in the audience actually heard of consumer barometer? Yes! Fantastic. OK, that's really, really great. We're working on it. It has been out since last year. And we do actually have a brand new wave. The 2015 wave has just launched. It's actually not yet externally available, but I get to show it to you today for the very first time to an external audience. And it will be available in like a couple of weeks' time for you all to play with. The consumer barometer, in a nutshell, is basically we spent a lot of money surveying 250,000 people across the world in 56 countries. And we asked them about their device usage, how much they use online video, and also path to purchase in 20 categories. So it's a huge amount of information, and it's totally free to use. I'm going to go to my demo, please. So the site, just so you know, is sort of beautifully optimized for mobile. So if you guys want to be having a play around on your tablets or mobiles right now, I'm quite happy for you to do that because it is gorgeous. So we're going to go straight into the graph builder. I just really quickly want to show you the categories here. So that's online and multi-screen world is device usage, smart shopper is path to purchase, and the smart viewer is online video usage. Okay, I'm going to dive straight in and look at sort of devices used. Here we're just looking at, you can see in the top there that I've got the UK, and I'm looking at women under 44 there, actually. So snapshot of device usage. Now, you might know this sort of stuff before, but what's great about the tool is that I get sort of directly comparable data for any of the countries that I'm interested in. So I can just click Germany and Ireland, and I now have, because we ask the exact same questions across the globe, you can directly compare sort of what usage looks like. Now, in general, you know, between these three countries, apparently all looks fairly similar, maybe slightly higher tablet usage in the UK. So let's dive into the smart shopper. So that's path to purchase stuff. Huge amount of information here. I could have gone to sort of anything from how people first found out about the product, what research they did online and offline. Here I've chosen just to look at the number of brands that women in Ireland, we can see the tags there, women in Ireland considered when purchasing makeup. So for Dara's brand, basically it looks like about a quarter are only considering one brand, so they're fairly loyal to one brand. But down here I can see that more than a third saying that it wasn't any particular brand that they were looking at. So they're sort of brand agnostic. Real opportunity there for Dara's brand to be leveraging that sort of open market. Something that I thought was interesting was to sort of split that out by age group, see if there are any differences. So you can actually, I was summing there, but instead I could compare. So there I can see that, for example, older respondents, a little bit more likely to be sticking to the one brand. That sort of key 25 to 34 audience apparently looking at sort of 3 brands. So Dara should be looking to those top 3 brands in the market to think about what they're doing. And the under 25s, half of them are totally brand agnostic. So a really great opportunity for Dara there. OK. Finally, this is just a section that's actually brand new for the 2015 survey. We asked people about their international purchases, the sort of export opportunity, getting people from abroad to buy your product, something that everybody should be thinking about. So if we're maybe based in Germany, we could be looking to Ireland to export our beauty products, because it looks like here at the top, a third of women in Ireland who've purchased abroad have actually bought a cosmetics, have bought some sort of cosmetics or beauty product from abroad. So real opportunity there. And again, I could have looked at that for however many countries I wanted, split it by whatever demographic. That is the consumer barometer in 3 charts, which is totally ridiculous. Please do have a play around with it yourself. So if I could go back to my presentation for our final little section then. So we've now got this nice big overview of what the trends are and what my target audience looks like. Maybe there are obviously questions that I haven't yet answered, like more granular to do with my brand, to do with the beauty brand, or if I wanted to investigate a trend more. For that, I can use consumer surveys. So this is a tool that anybody can use. You don't have to be a business owner or whatever. You basically can just sign up and you can ask questions, up to 10 questions to basically anyone on the internet. It obviously prices range depending on how many questions you ask and to whom. The way it works for a respondent is that basically when you get to a page where you might otherwise have had to pay for the content or enter subscription details, you get asked if you'd like to complete a survey, and the publisher obviously gets a bit of cash for you having done that. So that's one side. So that's like the whole internet where we could possibly be surveying people, and we're constantly building up inventory there. But then the other side of it is that we have an app, the Google Opinion Rewards app, where people download it and can answer surveys sort of on the go and get play credit for it, just so you know where our sample comes from. And it's a really reliable sample. We're constantly quality checking it. And anybody can ask a question. So what I obviously realized earlier this week when I was writing this presentation was that I might as well run one for you. So on Tuesday morning, I think it was, I thought about this mascara. Maybe I wanted to find out what people who are buying a mascara, what kind of the most important things were to them. So if I can jump over to my demo. What I did was basically asked 500 women in the UK who had made a mascara purchase in the last 6 months. I basically just asked them what the most important thing was. So these are my results. We're 2 days later, and I've already got 512 responses. I asked for 500 responses. So my survey is complete 2 days later. And I only had 3 options. Apparently that's all I could think of on a Tuesday after a bank holiday. And lash effect, so what the actual product offers, seems to be the most important thing that people are thinking about. But for example, fully like a fifth of people saying that brand, when they buy mascara, is the most important thing for them. So, I mean, obviously, my beauty brand could have come up with loads more useful questions to have asked, and I'm sure that you guys have questions that you want to send out. So do talk to me afterwards if you want to find out how to set those up. It's super simple. I'll jump back to my presentation for a very quick recap. Oh, I should just say that consumer surveys are only available in these countries at the minute, but we're rolling out to more European countries, I promise. So, quick recap then. Starting broad with Google Trends, we found out about those peaks in mascara. General interest in mascara is building up, so that's great. And that Unique's 3D mascara is pretty big right now, so that's something I need to sort of be watching. From the consumer barometer, we learned that device usage was pretty similar across the board, but that brand agnosticism in Ireland especially was pretty high, so real opportunity there. And then from consumer surveys, I don't know why sorry, not sure what happened there. So from consumer surveys, we learned that lash effect is certainly the most important consideration for buying a mascara, but brand also key for about a fifth of women in the UK. And that basically is your sort of quick introduction to some of the tools you can use to build up your sort of toolkit of insights. And with that, you can then go on and sort of design a campaign with the best impact. So I've got Madge to come up and talk to you about those tools. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing? Energy levels still going strong, starting to dip a little bit? All right. Fantastic. So my name is Majd. I'm a brand specialist here at Google for the Middle East and North African market. And what that means is that on a daily basis, I'm exposed to some of the most innovative, creative, and impactful campaigns in that region. Today, I'm going to specifically talk to you about 3 great tools that Dara and their team can use while creating mock-ups and finding inspiration to maximize the impact in the lead-up for the new launch of Urban Beauty. Now, any path to purchase funnel has to start with awareness. Your audience needs to see you, your audience needs to remember you. Getting past that, we then get to consideration. Consideration is about being understood and having your message out there and your users wanting to engage with it. And Google has a variety of solutions that fall broadly into one or the other category. Now, let's say Dara had mentioned earlier that we have a 20-second video that we're going to use to promote the new launch of Urban Beauty. And we have a variety of other assets as well. With that, we recommend going with a masthead. Now, for those of you who don't know, a masthead is a great way to promote a video because it's putting your video on the homepage of the world's #1 video destination. However, the question then becomes, all right, that's great. But what is that going to look like? There are endless opportunities for creativity, and the discussion with your teammates can get a little bit chaotic at times, to say the least. Which brings us to tool number 1, the video masthead preview tool. Just by show of hands, how many of you have ever heard of the video masthead preview tool? All right, so I'd say about a tenth of the audience. Fantastic. So if you're going to reach 40, 50 million people in one day to raise awareness, there's no better way to do this. But then the conversation becomes, all right, what am I going to do? What am I going to show the people on the YouTube homepage? And with that, if we can just switch to the demo, please. This is what the video masthead preview tool looks like. And I really hope they don't mind, but I actually may or may not have borrowed some assets from Sephora. But basically, what it shows you is what it will look like on the desktop, on the laptop, on the mobile, on the tablet devices that your users are using. The beautiful thing about this is that you can actually customize it as little or as much as you want. Now, if you just go down a little bit, as the absolute minimum, what you will require is a video. So you just plug in the video ID from YouTube, and you're good to go. However, there's a variety of different options as well. You can play around with the autoplay video size. You can choose when it starts, when it stops. You can mess around with the message that you want to convey to the audience. You can also, suppose we have some hero content as well to add in addition to the main 20-second video. We can do that too. We can add 2, 3 additional videos. It's really up to you what you want to do with this. We can also start thinking about where do we want to drive viewers? Do we want to take them to the channel? Do we want to add a subscribe button to drive more views there? Or maybe we want to drive online sales from the e-commerce website? It's really up to you. But the idea here is that you can play around with it. And at the end of the day, this is the best part. I get a little bit evangelical here about this. This saves us so much time during the creative discussion process because it's as simple as copying the URL and sending it to whoever you want to share this with. Instead of, gone are the days of 100 email threads where you have tens of different iterations of what the final product will look like. You can simply copy it, send it, get feedback from your team, and take it live from there. If we could just switch back to the presentation, please. Excellent. So we've raised awareness. Everyone sort of now kind of knows what Urban Beauty is. But now we want to really zoom in on that target audience. We want to drive consideration for the launch of these new products. And this is where we come to the Lightbox ads. Lightbox ads are fantastic because they run all over the Google Display Network, and they enable Dara and his team to really target that demographic of women between the ages of 25 to 35, which is fantastic. But then the question again becomes, OK, what's the best way to do that? What is the look and feel of those ads going to be? Which brings us to Lightbox Demo Builder. Now, this, just again, I'm really curious to see here. Who has seen this before? Slightly fewer people. Fantastic. So the Lightbox Demo Builder is great because it's sort of like a very safe environment for you to endlessly experiment with what your product's going to be, what your campaign is going to be. So you can play around with various features to see what will deliver your message in the most impactful way possible. If we could just switch to the live demo again, please. Once again, I've borrowed some assets from Sephora, but the idea here is that you have 2 phases in the ad. You have the one which is called the invitation stage, and this is what the user actually sees while browsing. And then on the other hand, you have the expanded state, which is those who choose to interact with your ad get to see. At a very basic level, you can start playing around with things such as the theme, so you can customize the various color palettes that you use throughout. You can customize the message that you're trying to get across, and you can see exactly what it will look like in all the different ad sizes that we have available. And let's say someone then goes and actually hovers on the ad, and they deliberately choose to interact with it. It'll expand. It'll take over a bigger part of their screen. And the nice thing here is that you can now exactly see what it will look like on all these various devices that people are using. So this is a great way to actually see that, you know what, maybe that text that I created a little bit earlier, maybe it was a bit too small to see on a mobile device. And instead of actually having to learn that once you launch the campaign, this is a fantastic environment in which you can test that out before moving forward. You can also add multiple assets. So, you want to have that main video promoted? Great, you can do that. But you can also add as up to 5 different videos as well. You want to add images? Fantastic. Just throw in an image gallery in there as well. And you can see exactly what it will look like. And why don't we also drive sales? Drive sales through the website, but also through the online store in the retail stores. Why don't we just add a map there as well, which we can do very easily, as you can see there. So it's a very fantastic format, but the creative process can be a little bit messy. And this is a great way to minimize the amount of time and maximize your creativity. If we could just switch back to the presentation now. Thank you. So we've seen 2 beautiful tools that we have. They're easy to implement. They're easy to use, very intuitive. You can just go right in, and within minutes, you have your mockups, and you can share them. However, the question now becomes, all right, well, has anyone done something like this that is similar before? What should I really do? How can I maximize the impact of my campaign? And this is where we come to tool number 3, the Rich Media Gallery. So richmediagallery.com is a fantastic repository of all of the best-in-class examples from the internet. So we're talking mastheads here. We're talking lightbox ads. All sorts of formats are available here. And the nice thing about it is that you can actually really drill down. You can filter by criteria such as the country. You can filter down by the ad format, the various features within it. You can even drill down into the industry or the level. We can talk about Flash creatives versus HTML5 creatives. It's got it all. And the nice thing is, it's constantly expanding. So every day, we're adding more and more examples to this newly launched version of Rich Media Gallery. The website is fully responsive, so I encourage you to actually check it out on your phones right now. It's very sleek. It's very easy to use. And the nice thing is you can actually interact with a lot of these ads. So they're not just previews. You can engage with them. They're live previews. So you can share them. You can find templates there as well. You can contact a creative team at Google if you need a little bit more inspiration. I strongly encourage you to make this an essential part of any marketeer's journey in launching a branding campaign for maximum impact. So we've seen 2 great tools, the Video Masthead Preview tool, which allows you to come up with previews for video mastheads that you want to launch. And we've also seen the Lightbox Demo Builder, which was built with a similar intention, but for Lightbox ads. We also talked a little bit about richmediagallery.com, which is a fantastic way to get inspired. Next, I'd like to invite onto the stage my colleague Annika, who's going to be talking to you a little bit more about how you measure the success of your campaigns. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Annika, and I'm a branding account manager for the Benelux market. And then next to that, I'm also one of the YouTube experts in Europe. And I would like to talk a bit more about how we can measure success. So Alja already talked a bit about which tools you can use to really measure the impact and to plan your campaigns. And then Mast talked about how you can be really inspirational. But what Benjamin also mentioned before, it's really important to also measure success and to have your KPIs ready and to really show the impact you can make with these great branding campaigns. So up next, we have here all the KPIs listed that Dara mentioned. One of the main KPIs was brand awareness. And then another important KPI was brand engagement. Then I would also like to add the ad recall and brand interest, since those are also really important indicators to measure brand awareness. And how we can measure success for these metrics is by using the brand lift surveys that was touched also yesterday by David Benson. And then next to that, we can also use YouTube Analytics, as Benjamin also showed today. So first, we're going to go a bit deeper into the brand lift surveys. There are two ways of measuring success with the brand lift survey. First, we have our surveys that are directly linked to your TrueView campaigns. So you have a TrueView campaign running, and then you would ask a question, for example, which of the below ads have you seen recently? And with this, we can ask your brand awareness, ad recall, and consideration. How would this look like? Here I have a little example of Chrome. So you see a video, someone would get a question afterwards. For example, which of the following have you seen in online advertising for recently? And then there's a list of brands. So in case of Urban Beauty, we could list Urban Beauty and the main competitors like MAC or L'Oréal Paris. And then we get a result. So on the right side, you see a really nice result of an impact of 53% in uplift of ad recall. So Urban Beauty really showed impact with their ads with an uplift of 53%. And brand awareness and consideration would be tracked in a similar way. Up next, we have brand interest, which is a really new concept where you can track success of your TrueView campaigns directly on search. So if people have seen an ad or engaged with your ad, would they search for Urban Beauty afterwards? So here's a really nice example of Burberry. So we have a Lightbox ads, people engage with the Lightbox ads, they search for Burberry, and we see a direct impact of people searching actually for the brand afterwards. So in case of Urban Beauty, 8.2% of people searched for Urban Beauty after being exposed to an ad, which is a great impact to show as a marketeer. So how does this work? I think David also talked about it yesterday. First, we have a really robust design, so it's really simple. We have two groups. We have the exposed group and the control group, and we compare the results between both groups. It's stackless implementation, so it's really simple to set up. Within a few clicks, we have set it up for you, and you can directly start your survey. And I think what is the most beneficial, since it's a really new brand, that you can already get the results within 2 weeks, so you really can see if there's an impact for your brand and adjust your campaign accordingly. So if we list all the main results for Urban Beauty, I would like to highlight a few which we can use in the follow-up campaign. First, frequency. For Urban Beauty, we noticed that 4 was the ideal frequency for the campaign to raise the highest ad recall. So I would consider in the next phase for Dara to increase the frequency cap and to show more of the impactful campaigns. Next to that, Dara used several creatives, and we noticed that the shorter creative was having a higher impact. So we would recommend to keep using that, especially in the busy Christmas period. Okay, then I would like to finish off the brand lift surveys and continue to the YouTube analytics that Benjamin also talked about, so I want to keep it short. But there are some really interesting insights that you can get from YouTube analytics. So first, we have the organic views. So actually, we saw for Urban Beauty that 22% of the viewers actually went to YouTube, they searched for the brand, and they actually watched the video. So you didn't even have to pay for it. People really liked to see the videos. Secondly, we noticed that a lot of views actually came from a mobile device, which is also a great insight that Alia already showed. So it's really good to keep mobile also part of your campaigns. And to finish, we also see that there's an engagement peak. So we noticed when we start advertising that people commented on the brand, they liked it, and that we really saw an impact there. So to finish off, what would be the impact for Urban Beauty? So we saw an increase of 15% in brand awareness, which is more or less in comparison to the benchmark. But what is really interesting is that the ad recall and the brand interest uplift were far above the benchmarks. So it's a really good indicator that our campaign was a success, but that we can learn to further improve the brand awareness. Next to that, we had brand engagement. So we saw a huge peak in brand engagement in our YouTube channel. So it's a really good indicator that we're on a good way and that people really like the brand. And then next to that, we have reached already 5 million views, which means that we already reached 25% of our target audience. Okay, so great results for Urban Beauty. And I would like to give the word back to Dara.
Fantastic. So thanks a million, Annika. That was really, really inspirational. So I've still got my marketing director hat on for the moment. So what I would say is that when I think about as a marketing director, and I'm sure many of you have been in this position already, before you start investing at scale and actually really putting your money where your mouth is and going big, I think the tools we've seen today and the solutions, I'm really excited by the signals. I think being able to see that real-time insights and real-time research is fascinating. I know how much research costs, so to be able to get that in real time is fantastic. I think that can also help with our communication. There's still time to change that. I think there's also time to change our packaging, maybe for future launches. And I'm definitely going to be sharing it with our global team as well. I think from an impact point of view, I think that 20 million target I had in terms of reach could be revised. I think you mentioned 50 million, so we need to talk about that. But also I think in terms of the impact, I think the creatives are absolutely beautiful. I think the mock-ups are stunning, and definitely I'm going to be confident showing a lot of these mock-ups to my global team. And finally, in terms of those brand lift and engagement surveys, I think they're fantastic. And I think from a brand point of view, I'd be very interested in running a test, maybe before I go live, just to understand what is the perfect creative and what kind of lift can I go after. So I think in summary then, I think as a marketeer and a brand marketeer, I hope you'll agree that there's a fantastic toolkit to actually give you everything that you need in order to make those decisions in terms of putting your media plan together. So in terms of my next step, I'm going to go away, I'm going to put my media plan together, I'm going to speak to Google again, and I'm also very, very interested in finding out more about programmatic buying, which I'm sure many of you heard about, and I really want to understand more about how programmatic can help me really scale a lot of my insights and tools. So I'm going to step outside of my brand director hat for now, so I hope you enjoyed that. But what I will say is, from a Google point of view, that after 1 o'clock, just so everyone knows that we're going to have Googlers in booths who are going to be able to tell you about all of these different scalable solutions. So you can think about this concrete example, you can think about your own business, and think about how those solutions can help you grow your business. So Googlers will be there. They will be live to talk about in the booths after 1 o'clock. And finally, my final point to say is that everything that you've seen is in the Toolkit playbook. So everything that you need is here. And if you have any questions, please do ask your Googlers in those booths between 1 and 2 o'clock. So I want to say thank you so much for your attention. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you have fantastic success with all of your brand businesses. Thank you.